So good evening, everybody. How are we all? There is no magazine today, so we are going to be looking through my workshop manual that I've acquired. We're also going to be just general chit chat, general questions. Doesn't have to be restricted to Routemaster, can be anything obviously relevant. However, first of all, I've got to introduce my most important co-host. Here is Horlicks.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone this wet evening? Well, it's wet here anyway.
So what have you been up to then?
Just working the norm.
Just working the norm.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Right, so I have put an invite out earlier on. Let me do the old flicky thing. Can you just talk for me, Horlicks?
Hello. Is it flicking over to me?
There we go. That's flicking. It's flicking. Right, so earlier on I did put a link out. If anybody wants to join in the show, just general talk about your build, talk about hobby in general. Primarily it's a test because obviously in a few weeks' time we're going to be doing the quiz. I've got to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure if it's going to cope with it. So if we could get sort of 4 or 5 people on, that would be absolutely awesome. Doesn't matter if you don't want to. Do you want to go through the comments, Horlicks, or shall I?
No, I don't mind. Yeah, let's have a little look. So
go on then, let's do the catch up then.
Jason Pelton here, enjoying the build so far. Looking forward to its competition. We've got Daniel Simpson. Hello, hello, Penny. Roger Thompson. Evening, Penny. And Roger again. I've not read many issues. Not sure it'll be any good. Love the build though, so I assume that's for coming on.
If it's regarding the quiz, it doesn't matter. What I'm thinking about doing is doing 4 or 5 sections. One section will be you'll need to have read the magazine to get it right. But the other section will just be about. But basically, you should be able to score points in every section. You know, you'll get one person might get 100% on the magazine section, and then one other person will get 100% on another section. It's going to be a general thing, and it's only for fun anyway.
Okay, so we've got Dave Milne here as well. Hello, hi all. And then what we've got here, Love Minis is here. Hello, Love Minis. How are you? Obviously me, Adrian Langley. Hello, you're here. And we've got, what else is here? Oh, Daniel Simpson said it's wet and freezing in Sunderland.
Oh, lovely. It's always wet and freezing in Sunderland.
Love Minis has got light snow there. Daniel Simpson's expecting snow. And Andy, hello. Why is there no issue this week?
There is no issue because they are not publishing one this week. We received a letter recently. Let's see if I can pull it up. We received a letter last week with the magazines, but we also got something on Facebook. Sorry, you caught me on the hop. Let's see if I can get that ready. Do a screen share. Oh, there we go. Right. So it's basically saying there are no issues on these weeks because of some delays in the production process. As a result, we'll be publishing issues on a different schedule. Excuse me, in shots for a short time till we catch up. Issue 43 will be on sale 21st of November. We will continue to publish issues on a slightly altered schedule until issue 47. From issue 48 onwards, we'll be publishing issues on a weekly basis again. Now, what that actually means for subscribers, I'm not 100% sure, because it's basically going 43, 44 is weekly. Then this week we've got nothing. It's going to be fortnightly for 3 weeks, 3 issues, sorry. And then it goes back to weekly from issue 48. and it says that subscribers' monthly deliveries will not be affected. Now, I've got it on my calendar that, am I coming back? There we go. I've got it on my calendar that the issues are due for dispatch this coming Friday. So that's 2 days' time. Now, for me, that means that I will probably get my subscription issues next Saturday, not this coming Saturday, but the one after. So I'm interested to know if I'm going to be getting 4 issues, and then in 4 weeks' time, I'll get another 4 issues, which will then put me 4 weeks ahead of the newsagents people. So we'll see what happens, or maybe I'll get less issues. So long as I don't pay for more issues than I get, I don't mind. I shouldn't think you'll be affected at all, Horlicks, because you're not up to the latest issues, are you?
No.
So,
okay.
yeah, I'm wondering if that's what's going to happen.
Okay, Dave Milne said he's tried the link, but it's come up with an error. So I have just reposted it at the bottom of the chat.
Right.
I'm wondering if was it your VVV one?
Yeah, I got a stuck key on my keyboard. So when I posted the link to Horlicks, when he did click it, he says, "Oh, it doesn't work." And I noticed that I pasted the link, because I do Control and V, because the V key got stuck. The last 15 digits was V, so of course it wasn't going to work. Hello, Sol. How are you?
So yeah, we've got Graham Presswood here. Hello, good evening. Christine. Hello, Penny and Horlicks. Hello.
Oh, that's a new name, Christine UK. I think, or am I just really bad remembering our guests?
Dave says hello from a very wet Yorkshire. Andy again, is this a one-off, or can we expect more disruption? But as you just said, yeah, you explained.
I think over 130-week period. No, this is the thing. Like, if we've had quite a few disruptions, and unfortunately came at the beginning of the issue, you know, the first 40, 50 issues. If we had this number of disruptions, but they came in the last 10 weeks, we would probably all be going, well, that's all right. They're usually really good, because the reputation has already been set. If we have this number early on, and then there aren't any more disruptions, we're still going to be going, oh yeah, well, it was a really bad start. So I think the odd disruption is going to be not impossible. It's so hard to plan what's going to happen the next 2 years. I've got to be honest with you, I'm not fully believing this delays in production process. It just sounds like an excuse that they've made. However, they could actually be telling the truth. It could be a ship has sunk that had the shipment on board, or it was hijacked by Somali pirates, or maybe the captain of the ship thought, well, actually, I like that Routemasters. I think I'll steal the whole cargo load and do it myself. And he's probably watching this show right now because he hasn't got a clue on what to do.
Yeah, all possible.
So there you go.
Oh, Dave says a great T-shirt, Penny.
Yeah, this is the one I promised you the other week, and I like it. It's kind of mysterious, stylish. Yeah, it's just a little bit different, isn't it? It's not quite all there. So in actual fact, it's probably an appropriate shirt for me, really, isn't it?
Well, don't like to say.
Wow.
So,
Dave Milner said you think thinks it might be a catch up for subscribers. Yeah, that's what I wondered, because I think I've said this before on a previous episode, but up to month number, Andy M's now saying he prefers the PJs. People complaining. Yeah, see, look, I've got real clothes on today. Look, real clothes, because I've been out today. Yeah, so sorry. when you subscribe, you get free gifts, and the free gifts stop at pack number 9. So now we've got pack number 9, which I think was this little baby, which I absolutely love. But there's now no incentive to subscribe. Subscribers are up to 5 weeks behind the newsagents. You'll go 5 weeks, then you'll receive 4 issues, which will now only put you, well, between a couple of days and a week. Excuse me, I've got an itchy ear. It could put you about a week behind, so you still don't fully catch up. And then you wait another 4 weeks. So all the people going to the newsagents are getting 4 issues, and then you catch up. So there is actually no incentive to subscribe. So if they can put the subscribers ahead of the newsagents, and when I first subscribed to this, I was told that what would happen is, excuse me, the subscribers would fall 2 weeks behind the newsagents. Then they would receive 4 issues, which would put them 2 weeks ahead. Then the newsagents would get 4 issues. So basically, each one would be leapfrogging the other, which is partly why I kept my subscription going, so that one would be ahead of the other. So I wonder if they're doing that. So hello, Steve Graham. How are you? All these new names, or are you just being brave now? My hand. I hurt my hand today, and it's okay. It's very sore. So so it's my fingers I'm having issues with. So but thank you for the concern. So yeah, Daniel Simpson gets 4 issues at the end of the month. So I presume your due dates are the same as mine, because I've got it on my Google Calendar, so that it comes up on the calendar for every 4 weeks, and it says here Routemaster due on the 7th. So I'll probably get that by the 14th. Yeah, no, subscriptions suit some people. Excuse me, I get my Millennium Falcon by monthly pack, and I spend 2-3 hours doing it, and then I do nothing for a month, and I focus on other things. Some of the issues that we get with Routemaster, a whole issue might only be 5 minutes, and then the next one might be an hour. So if you get 4 weeks, it doesn't, if you got, you usually don't get 2 short issues 2 weeks running. So by having 4 at once, you've got probably 2 hours worth of building time, and that's your, for want of a better expression, your time of the month then, isn't it? So do you like getting subscriptions, Horlicks?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, and as I said in like my own video, it's the only way I can really do it, because I get paid weekly, but I've got monthly outgoings. Some weeks I might not have any spare money at all, so I couldn't afford the £8 every week necessarily. Right. So I have to do it monthly, so I can budget that in. So yeah, that's why I have to do it that way.
Right. So it might be a case of you can't afford £8 this week, but you could afford 16 next week.
Yeah. And then it may be too late, or the shop might not like that. So, and also you have to go out and go to the shop. So I'd rather just have it delivered.
Yeah. Andy M has pretty much, the one advantage is also the one disadvantage, which is you get it all in one day, and then you've got absolutely nothing for a month.
For a month, yeah.
I mean, I found with some of the Millennium Falcon ones, you really get into it, and then suddenly you've run out, and you're like, oh, I've got nothing else. Dave Milne likes to support the local news agents, and I can subscribe to that theory, but the problem I've got is my local, what I call proper news agents, is that they seem to be treated less than fairly from the major. I mean, the main wholesaler is WH Smith's. So obviously they're going to look after WH Smith's more than they're going to look after Mr. Patel's corner shop, aren't they? And I would rather go to the little corner shop, and he may only make £1 on it, or 50p, or I don't know what they make on their mags. But, 50p, if everybody comes in quick 50p profit, he's made a good little profit then, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's I would like to, I mean, I wouldn't have an objection to doing it weekly if I could, because then you'd be more up to date. But well,
Yeah.
I'd be more up to date at the current time. But it's just just one of those things. And well, what was I going to say? I can't remember what I was just about to say then. Oh yeah, obviously when I first started subscribing, I was a bit like, oh, I don't know if I can cope with the because I love building stuff. So I thought, as oh, who's it? Sorry, I've oh yeah, and as Andy just said, like I was worried that I would get it all in a day, do it all, and then, as you say, got nothing to do for a month. But
Mm.
I've actually got really good now at, well, sometimes I'll build it all in a day, but then I've got more time to edit my videos and things, and because obviously I YouTube them. So I've got plenty to do, and sometimes I'll only build one or two issues and then leave them for a week and then do them the following week or something. So I've got, you know, it hasn't bothered me having to wait a month. Although this month R2D2 can't come quick enough because it's my last delivery.
Yeah, I bet you're so looking forward.
But
Well,
saying that, do you know what? I've seen a few videos on Facebook of so a couple of people have done it, and it's not really looking too exciting, if I'm honest.
do you think?
I don't know yet until I've read the manual and got the app. I don't think the app's available yet, but it just didn't. It just didn't look like it did a lot.
So you spent like 100, 800, 900 pounds on an ornament.
I mean, I saw it driving around someone's kitchen, but none of the screens were lit up or anything. And apparently, you may need the app for that or something. But I don't know. I mean, I haven't done it and looked at it myself, but I'm just going on what I've seen.
Yeah,
And at the moment, it just drives round. It sounds really loud, and there's no screens on or anything like that. So I don't know until we got the app and I've actually played with it.
yeah.
But
So is it just a case of once it's not what? Yeah, I think you've got something like control board or something an issue 100.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that. But
So
I've got no evidence on. There's no evidence on seeing the projector working or the camera working or anything like that at the moment. But again, I think we probably need the app, and I don't think it's available yet. Um,
right.
so yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But
Roger Thompson is saying that he wants to do the ghosty, which I think we all want to do that, don't we? It looks
yeah,
absolutely amazing. But
it does look good. But the thing that's putting me off is, well, apart from the money, I've got a DeLorean here, so I've got two. I'll have two cars, if you like.
yeah, I think that they are going to wait till they finish that DeLorean.
Yeah, I think I'm going to wait. I'm going to finish the DeLorean. I think I'm just going to. I mean, it's going to be a bit annoying and sad for me, but I think I'm going to just concentrate on the Routemaster,
Yeah. It's.
and
I
then
mean, I'd love to do them all, and if I had the money, I'd get them all.
yeah. But I'm doing two at the moment, and it is quite tight. So I'm going to finish the DeLorean and then have a little break.
Yeah.
Get some other bits paid that I need.
See,
As
for
I
me,
said,
what's killing me right now is this R2D2. It's just all the prints, and I can't believe how much filler I'm spending. I'm actually although I'm releasing videos, I'm saying a budget of £10 a week. It's actually not quite that simple, because like you'll buy a roll of filament, and roll of filament is 20-25 quid, and you might only use £3 worth of filament, but you can't go to shop and say, "Can I just have 3 quid's worth of filament?" You have to buy the full 20 quid, and then that will last you so many prints.
mm,
Then obviously I'm printing other stuff as well, so I've got the range of different color filaments. So it's excuse me, so I've just got a dry throat. I've gone all wheezy for some reason. Um, So yeah, and then obviously like when I'm buying tools and things like the sander I've just got and the 3D pen, although I'm only saying it's cost a fiver, it still cost me 20 quid. Um, because obviously I'm not putting the £15 in because I'm saying, well, that can be used for other projects, which I won't charge it to. So actually I've got my spreadsheet up. What we up to? Issue. Well, I've actually made up to issue 10 of the YouTube videos, and so that gives me a budget of £100, and I've spent about £91. What I have actually spent is more like 220 quid. That's with failed prints, that's with tools and fixings. See, the fixings, you might only use 6 screws, which will cost, say, 12p, but then they've cost you like 3 or 4 quid to buy 100 of them, because you just don't get the value for money if you buy 1 or 2 screws, because obviously the postage costs. So, yeah, it's the true cost that's kind of killing me, because there's always something. But it works out I'm spending about 30 or 40 pound a week. I thought this would be cheaper than the Agostini half-sized one, because there isn't a markup on it that's going to some fat cat cigar fund. But in actual fact, it's just. But then I'll get to a point where I've printed everything I need to print, and then I don't need to print anything new off. But yeah, but I did find myself probably about 6 7 months ago. I just wanted to do every part work going. I mean, I cancelled the 3D print at one. And there was the two that I want to get is the Doctor Who figurines and the Game of Thrones figurines. But I've got to draw the line and say I'm more about constructing stuff. I mean, I would love the Game of Thrones one, but kind of got to back off. And apparently, the Doctor Who figurines was only meant to go something like 60 or 80 issues, and they're currently up to 200 and something. So, where does that one stop?
That's the thing, isn't it? It's just
Yeah.
we just need to win the lottery, don't we? And then we can just get everything.
Yeah, that is the universal answer.
Quit,
So
quit work, and then just build models after models every day of the week. Have a different model.
that would be great if that was my job.
I just want to say thank you to oh god, I've lost the chat. Dave, thank you. Yeah, I didn't realise the PDF was up on the website. I've actually just gone on there and downloaded it, so I shall print that off at some point. That's really good. Thank you.
Right, so I have. Oh, you want to talk about something, didn't you?
Yeah, I was just about to say, do you have anything to say, or?
Not really. Did everybody like my video yesterday, and did they find that very informative and helpful?
Just
you are allowed to answer the questions as well, Horlicks. It's not exclusively for the guests. I was just, sometimes when you get an idea. I'm coming home from work, and what it was is we obviously some other YouTubers have released a video testing their speaker, and all it is at this stage is, what is it, a passive speaker, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It's a passive speaker, so it will only work if you tell it what to put through it. So although testing it and it going click 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 is actually a positive test, it's obviously to make sure it's working. You actually didn't fall for. You know what? I didn't think anybody would, and just in case they were likely to fall for it, I did throw in the name of my master mechanic, April J. Oakes.
Yeah, we were on Google last night, weren't we? And we were just howling. I
How
just
much was I laughing?
yeah, I was laughing too. It was so funny.
Oh,
But no, I was just gonna say, like, yes, it was my idea initially. When we did the actual issue with the speaker, I did suggest you could try running a small amount of voltage through it and see if it clicks or pops. Then you know it's working. But I'm talking minimal voltage, like, half a volt or something,
yeah, something just to
because
make it
it's
click.
such a small speaker. It wouldn't, I don't think it would have 4 volts going through it. So, as I say, there was another other YouTubers that decided to stick 4.5 volts through it, and I mean, I reckon it could have damaged it, because I don't think it's. I'm pretty. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone else who knows a bit more about electronics than myself, but I don't think a speaker that size would be having an input of 4.5 volts.
No.
So yeah, just don't plug your speaker into a power supply. I said to Penny, it's like plugging a loudspeaker into the mains and expecting it to play a bit of Rod
Can't even
Stewart
know.
or something.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. You
No.
need something. You need a control module to actually to do it. So yeah, it's yes. Don't be plugging. Please just don't plug your speakers into
No,
power sources that
unless
you
you've got a
don't need.
mechanic like mine and you do get genuine engine oil, and that was loud, wasn't it? I mean, that was really good.
I mean, the only thing I can suggest, if you really, really desperately wanted to try the speaker, is to get a pair of earphones or headphones for your phone that you don't need, cut the wire off, and then plug the positive and negative into the speaker and play a tune through your phone. And you
Yeah.
might get a faint noise through it. That's the only way I can think you can really test it. But there's no point sticking 4 or 5 volts through it, because it's not going to do anything, and if anything, it'll damage it.
The thing is, even if the actual finished model is 4 or 5 volts, it's going to have various resistors and things in it, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah, yeah. Okay, it might have 4 or 5 volts operating, but then by the time it's gone on the board and it's stepped the voltage down, it's not actually going to put out 5 volts to the speaker. Not
No.
that size. Yeah, as Paul said, wire it to some headphones. That's the only way you can, if you really want to test it. But the chances of it being duff is very slim, I think, on a speaker.
Yeah, it's
And obviously, the sound box is going to be at the bottom anyway. Mind you, I'm
yeah.
not sure how accessible it will be from the screws, because you screw it in from the other side, so it could be a stripped down job, I suppose.
By the time we put seats in and the roof and then the floor from the next deck and then the roof, it's going to be hard to get hold of.
Yeah, so then I
So
suppose it then boils down to when we'll get the circuit board and if they're going to ask us to test it beforehand. But
I just hope that if it does go wrong, that the people it goes wrong for are the people that are like got the attitude, like World of Wayne, where he'll just go, "That's broken. Okay, fine. I'll just have to get on with it and repair it." There'll be no fuss. He'll just get on with it, and then he'll probably mention in his video, "Oh, it took me 4 hours to sort that one out, but it's done now." And he's kind of like the person who will just, "It's screwed up. Let's just get it sorted out."
yeah,
So I have been, Love Mini Sound tested for continuity.
yeah,
Oh, sorry, I was going to just answer Johnson Hazel. I don't know if it's going to be engine noises or not, but I suspect it would be. I tell you what, let's.
I think it does. It did. Yeah, I think it did say somewhere that it was going to be an engine noise.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it's going to double up as a speaker for the bell, because apparently it's got a working bell.
Oh, that could be what the speaker's for then.
So, yeah, but I think it's a bit OTT to have a big speaker like that for a bell. So I'm
Right.
sure I did read it was for the engine noises. I think it does do engine noise. It might just do a bus idling or something, like a short clip. And then perhaps, yeah, it will also, when you push the bell, it will. it'll play through the speaker.
Do you know what? Actually, it doesn't actually say. Let me pull up the website for you all. I can't actually see that it says we are getting engine noises.
I think it was in the magazine.
All right.
For that issue. Yeah, because I didn't realise it had engine noises because it didn't say on the website.
Oh, okay. So Pedassi has said that it has got engine noises. So all I can see there is you've got moving elements, faithful engine, operating lights, turning blind display, working bell, opening parts, historically accurate, and detailed chassis. So, well, look, what I'll do then, if
Have
you
got
want
the magazine to hand?
Yeah, I was just going to say I'll get the magazines out because I keep my magazines because they're
Well,
so
yes.
full of. Well, it's
You have
me.
to, really.
You don't have to, but
Well, I would, no, you don't have to after it's built, but I would certainly think you would have to while you're building it because, if there's a stage where you need to go back or do something.
yeah. I mean, look, I've still got the little insert from issue 1, so moving parts work and building your model, the story of the Routemasters, building your model. I can't, in all fairness, I can't see anything. Oh, look.
What issue was it? 44?
Yes.
No, it wasn't. 43, wasn't it?
Let me pull out. Oh, hang on. I've got to admit, the trouble I have is I chuck my magazines on the bedroom floor. And then I go up here and I can't find them.
Yeah, here we go. I've got it here.
Which one is it?
It's 43.
43.
Right.
Do you want to pull it up?
Yeah, hang on.
I mean, they are obviously changing things because if you now go back, there is the free gift of the mug, which doesn't. I'm not complaining because the mug we get is wonderful, but that's what they're saying that we were getting the mug.
There we go. Sorry. Yeah. No, I was going to say, this is the issue with the speaker. The speaker is fitted to the rear section of the lower deck. This will produce the engine sound effect. The rear section of the lower deck is then joined onto the section supplied. So yeah, it's going to do the engine sounds. And I expect the bell noise may come out of there as well. So yeah, that's where, because it doesn't actually say on the website, because we got excited. We went, oh, engine noises, because it didn't say that initially on the website.
See, now looking through, the spoof video. Let me go back. Good evening. Oh, no, yeah, Pedassi, if you're talking about my video, it was a spoof. What I'd done is I'd pretended to set it all up, and then the engine noise was an overlay. I don't know if you thought that was really the engine noise. If you look closely, my timing is really bad as well, but it was just meant to be fun, and I hope it was. Yeah, no worries, Pedassi, it's fine. Listen, if you thought that was real, then that suggests to me that perhaps I made the video a little bit too good. So wait till April when I put out a real April Fool's video. I've got one in the planning, so you'll like that, I think. So yeah. So yeah, it's good. It's good that they've actually technically then sprung a little surprise on us, haven't they? Because we weren't expecting the engine noises.
No, I didn't read anything. It doesn't say anything about that on the initial model, unless it's something they thought about afterwards. And thought, oh, I know, let's whack some sound in as well.
I think they probably just forgot to include it because I don't think engine noises is something that you can just slip in at the last minute.
No, I suppose not.
I would imagine that they've already planned issue 130 before they've released issue 1, and there might be small changes, but I'll be laughing for a while, Pen.
Oh, Dave likes your riddle on Facebook. Do you know what? I was doing my head in. I couldn't work it out. I was sure I got it right the second time.
Yeah, a friend of mine posted that on his wall. and it was one of these. I'm trying to think. When you got to think out. It's obvious you got to think outside the box, and what I forgot was there was a riddle my granddad taught me. It's always my granddad, isn't it? Might have even been my mum. I saw Esau sitting on a seesaw. How many S's in that? And the answer is none, because the last sentence is how many S's in that. So there's two T's, an H, and an A. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is how the riddle. So, of course, when I read it, I thought, it says, what do you open first? And I thought, well, you've got to let your parents in the house before you can make them breakfast. So you'll open the door. And a few people said that. And I think also the bit where it said you're asleep. So a few people were saying eyes. But if you read the last sentence, it says something along the lines of, what do you open first to give your answer? So the answer was messenger. So as soon as I was told the answer, I'm like, yeah, that's obvious, isn't it?
Oh, someone did actually put that on your comment.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
That didn't click though. That didn't give it away. I wouldn't have thought of that.
So Padassi is asking you, did you see the R2D2 user guide?
Yes, I did. Thank you. Yeah, I have downloaded it. I've got it on my desktop. I'm going to print it. I might even print it at work and laminate it.
Is that the whole user guide, or just because I saw one on one of the Facebook groups?
Yeah, it's the whole way. It's 21 pages.
Right.
So I'm going to print them in colour at work and laminate them and bind them.
Yeah, that's very true, Paul 61. But in any case, whether you're saying messenger or phone, the answer isn't the door or your eyes.
And also, Paul, how can you can't open Messenger if you're asleep?
However, saying that, not everybody's on their phone, are they? They might be on a PC. So you wouldn't open your phone to send me the message on Messenger on your computer. So we'll just say that I lost. I had to put up a profile picture of the guy's choice. Sorry, I boo-booed today. I've started a 3D print. It was my print has been playing up for the last 3 or 4 days, and I've had to go out and buy some different masking tape, and it's actually looking all right at the moment. Actually, I might be able to get. Let's see if I can get a little view of it as a possible treat. I move that down, moving everything into my. Actually, no, let's not. Don't need to move it down. Oh, I've lost it. My win. There it is. Right. So if I go into. This is the world's worst streaming ever. There's nothing about my streaming today. So that's my 3D printer live. That's printing a cog system for the dome for the R2D2 because I've run out of light grey filament. So I'll show you the failed print in a moment. Does that stop sharing? Where are we? Right, lovely. Yeah, so what that will produce is something like that. That's half of it. And that will go underneath the bottom ring. You bolt in a Lazy Susan into the top of the Lazy Susan. And I can't remember if this goes into the body or the Lazy Susan or both, but that will go on like that's it. That goes onto the Lazy Susan, and then this cog is attached to the body, which goes in something like that. So this moves in order to move the dome round, or something like that. So But like most of these prints, I look at the instructions before I print them, and I'm left going, what? And then I print off the pieces, and then I put them together, and I'm like, oh yeah. So it's not till you've actually got the pieces in front of you that you can really make sense of them. So you have to have a bit of blind faith with it.
Mm. Oh,
How
Daniel
much?
just asked how much the refill is. It varies, doesn't it? You can get a roll of it from £10 all the way up to sort of £40.
Yeah,
You pay for what you get, really.
I
Um,
I got some filament from some Chinese company. They're selling it on Amazon, and I was asked to test it, and this should have been £16 a roll. Um, it's by Aeon, and it's okay filament. It's quite a new company, so all they have is black or white. Um, it's not as good as the brand that I normally. It feels a little bit greasier as well. I think they've tried to make it more environmentally friendly, so it feels like it's made of vegetable oil rather than just is. But the filament I generally use comes from a company called Filaprint, and I do put the link in the comment, not in the comment, in the description of not this video, but of the R2 videos. And I'm primarily using three colors, and they come out at £21.60 a roll with free delivery, which I think is very reasonable. But I think I'm sure they make their own filament, because some of their rolls are like 40-50 quid,
hmm,
but they're the top end ones, and you can get these nice color change ones. And there's two filaments that I've got to buy in the future. One is a nylon one, which is really tough, or nylon really, and that's going to be 40 quid for 750 grams. So I'm effectively getting 3/4 of a spool of filament for twice as much. So that's going to make it what, nearly three times as expensive. And the other one I need to get is well, there's four or five different brands that do the same thing, but it's called Ninja Flex, which is a rubber, and it you can make rubber tires with it. So
hmm.
when I do the feet, I'll be using Ninja Flex for that. Um, but you know, we'll see how it goes. Apparently, they're really difficult to work with.
Yeah, I've got
Um,
some, but I haven't printed with it as of yet.
yeah, it's basically I've heard it described as printing with wet spaghetti. So
Yeah, and I've also heard that really, I mean, you may struggle, but you need a direct feed printer. Um, well, you don't need one, but that I think that's
it helps.
preferable because otherwise you've got all that tubing to try and get a rubber band through,
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of.
What you
So
have to do apparently is turn the temperature up really high and print really slow, so it gives it more chance to melt that filament,
mm,
and watch it like a hawk. No, no, none of this. Oh, it's a 16-hour print. I'm off to bed. If it's a 16-hour print, I shall be watching it for 16 hours. So, but then it's a new filament. Nylon apparently is hard to work with as well, because that needs a higher temperature to melt.
yeah, bit
But
like
it's
ABS as well. I mean, I have successfully printed with ABS, but it's really hard, really
yeah,
hard.
yeah, I've heard that. And also it warps a lot more, doesn't it?
Yeah,
ABS.
it just yeah, that's what I had
Yeah.
problems with, and you have to get the environment just right.
Yeah. See, I struggle sometimes with PLA. I mean, this print that I'm doing right now is warping on the brim, but it's not warping on the actual print. So I'm not too bothered about it. But usually if I haven't quite got the bed level, um, it'll kind of, if it's a little bit too low, it'll print it. Hey Fleetwood, how are you? It'll print the plastic on top of the surface a little bit higher, so it hasn't got quite so much grab. So as the layers come round, once it gets to about there, it's starting to, by pushing down there, it's actually pushing it up there, so it starts to come off the print bed. And once you get a little gap between the plastic and the print bed, you've got hot air in there, and it starts to just melt the plastic a little bit, or not melt it, but
Mm.
what do you call it when it warms it up and makes it more
Malleable.
malleable? That's it. And that's when it starts to warp. And then obviously the more it warps, the more hot air that can get under there. It's not till you've done like 2 or 3 layers of the main print that the print is now heavy enough that it's not going to warp. But you're still going to get that problem with ABS, aren't you?
Yeah,
Because it doesn't shrink slightly as it
yeah, it's
cools.
really bad with ABS. You can just
Yeah.
like a banana.
Oh, Dave Milner's just said that they heard they might be stopping the Routemaster heritage routes in London. I was just watching a video this afternoon, something about secret Routemaster routes. They've got some routes in London, and they're ordinary routes. You can get on them with your rail card or your Oyster card, and they're there, and they're hidden in plain sight. So if Dave's saying that they're stopping the heritage routes, is that because they're getting too expensive to run? Do you think? What do you reckon, Horlicks?
Mm, maybe I suppose like all the maintenance and they're knocking on, aren't they? So
Yeah.
maybe just the maintenance because obviously, well, I don't know how readily available the parts are for them.
Well, the parts are
Um,
going to get less and less common, aren't they?
yeah,
So,
so it could be a number of things, I suppose.
and Johnson Hazel saying, "Where did I get the cardboard bus from?" That came from Amazon. It's like a little Haynes manual, but you get about 10 pages of information, and then you get the rest of it is all push out pieces, and then you put them together, and then you get the instructions. And oh boy, did we have problems with that. It's not glued together, but it's all done in such a way that it will go together. But where I had problems was the back. It really didn't want to maintain the bus. Like you see, it's a little bit misshaped at the top. It really didn't want to just fall into that shape. And you push one tab in and another one falls out. And in the end, you just have to go for a that'll do situation. But it's all right. I like it. It cost me a couple of quid, about 3, 4, 5 pounds, I'm sure. It's all right, you know, not as good as my Harshette one, but then I'm paying the money for the Harshette one. So I think all of my buses that I've got, I think they're all equally good value for money. I say the Lego one was over £100 and the Wilco Blocks one was a fiver. And I would say they're equal value for money because you get an awful lot of Lego for £100 and you get an awful lot of the Wilco one. You don't get so much detail, but you've only paid a fiver for it. So if any of that made sense.
Mm.
So I'm not complaining about any of my buses. And I'm especially not complaining about my free one from Harshare. I do love that. And I'm going to be one of these saddos that keeps it in the car. I haven't even taken the cardboard off.
No, I'm like
So
that.
one
It's
day
like
it
the
might be
badge.
worth.
The badge we've got still in the plastic.
Yeah, I think it is for me. Yeah, it is. It's here. That's my badge. And I think I'm absolutely positive that my tin plate, which I have seen recently, I move things around to get to things. But I have seen my tin plate somewhere, and I'm pretty sure that's still in the
Yeah,
plastic.
yeah, mine are.
So I'm just deciding where to put that. So yeah, I know you can get lights for them, but I was chatting with Horlicks quite a while, probably so far ago, long ago that he probably can't remember.
No, I can. We were looking for them, weren't we?
Yeah,
And
we were
getting
looking at
excited.
making them, weren't we?
No, they
And
actually you could buy the kit, couldn't you?
yeah, yeah.
I can't remember why you didn't do. Why did you decide not to get them in the end? I think it
Because
was
they're expensive. They're
the
about
price,
60
wasn't it?
quid.
Was it?
Yeah, it's about 60, 70 quid for the Lego lights. You can get the same lights from AliExpress for about 30. But we were looking at perhaps making them ourselves. I think, I mean, you've put lights in your Wilco one.
Yeah.
And I would imagine because of the size of it, it's probably going to be easier to put lights in the Lego one than it was to put it in the Wilco one.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and if there's enough space in there, you could probably put like a controller.
Well, I
So
forgot to
you
plug
probably,
them in.
yeah, don't forget to plug your
Don't
lights in.
know.
There we go.
Okay.
Now our stream is complete. Our stream is not complete if the Wilco bus is not turned on.
And it
So,
was very difficult to do that, I must admit. I had to get a file out and start filing some of the bricks down to try and get the
yeah.
wire through them. So it wasn't a quick thing.
Did you use 5mm LEDs or 3mm?
No, that was part of the issue. They're flat ones that you would find on a circuit board.
Ah,
You know, the really, really, really tiny ones, like what's on the Raspberry Pi. You've got the green LED on the board.
yes.
They're ones like that, and I had to try and get wires soldered to them, and I damaged 4 LEDs trying to solder because they just melted into bits.
Oh,
So I just came lucky with 2 out of about 10.
really? So you broke 80% of your bulbs.
Yeah, but they were so cheap. Well, actually, I didn't pay for them. They were at work. They were in a slip at work.
You get most things at work. I hope no one from your company is actually watching any of these streams.
No, no, I can have them. There's stuff I was selling for Graham on eBay. The director, he's all right. There's just a few bits that obviously wouldn't sell, and
Right. So, what after you put them on eBay, if they don't sell, then you can have them.
I didn't put them on eBay. It wouldn't be worth the postage.
Right.
You know, I would have sold them for what, 20p, if that. And then by the time you've done postage and everything, and then you got your eBay fees, it's just not worth.
Yeah.
If you're a business, then it's worth it, I suppose. But when you're just someone selling an LED on eBay, you just wouldn't bother.
It's probably the sort of thing that you would sell by the thousand just to get a couple of extra positive reviews,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because
So
you see
things
these
like
companies.
that, just it was unsellable, so it would have just gone in the bin.
So it's gone in your Wilco bus instead.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm going to read some of this. As you know, I've got this manual. I photocopied it from a secret source. And I thought what I'll do is when I get the chance, I'll go through little bits. I can't show you it and I can't photocopy it, but what I can do is share the information in like a second, third hand. Johnson, yeah, issue 3. I think that would have come out today, wouldn't it? I haven't been down I didn't bother going down the shop today. Normally, I go down W.H. Smith's to get my Routemaster, and then I have a look around while I'm there. Because there was no Routemaster, I couldn't see the point in going down, so I didn't go down. But I'll probably pop in tomorrow if I'm that way round there. But I still haven't contacted them about my other ones. I actually dropped the Spitfire the other day. I caught it with my arm and I'd broken one of the propeller blades. But the issue I've got is with the Halifax. I don't know if you were watching last week, but it's missing a wheel, and that's how it came out of the packet. So I'm reluctant to. I really need to contact them and ask them if they're going to do anything about it. But you know, it's issue 1 and 2 has cost me a total of £7 or £8. So I just probably won't bother buying anymore. If I want to do a Vulcan for a tribute for my mum, I'll probably just go out and buy a plastic kit. But I'll wait till I know I'm really good at doing model aircraft before I do it. So does anyone? Yeah, ideas on displaying the buses. It's not anything I've thought about. Is it anything you thought about, Horlicks?
Sorry.
Displaying our buses once they're.
Oh yeah, no. Sorry, yeah, no. I was. Do you know what? I don't know yet because I don't think I'm going to do anything. I'm just going to make my shelf wider and whack it on. To be honest.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I've got a shelf big enough, but I'm thinking for me, the only issue I've got is dust protection, because this, as I pull this cardboard bus off, I don't know if this will show, but yeah, you can't see it, but there's quite a lot of dust on the top of there. So
I mean, the only thing you can do is, I don't know if it works. You could get like you get that polish that detracts or whatever it is, like dust, doesn't it?
yeah.
But it'd give you something to do on a Sunday, polish the bus.
Oh God. Oh, my bus is about to fall off the shelf. See, what I'm thinking is, because I've got modular shelving, I could just get 4 bits of clear plastic,
Yeah,
drill some holes in, and I can actually bolt them
that's a good
all
idea.
around. But that's obviously an idea for me.
And then all you've got to do is open your front door, charge admission, and there you go. You've got a little museum.
Sorry, I've just read that last comment. Yeah, no, I was talking with, I don't know if I said it on stream, but I know I was definitely talking to Dave about it. I wondered about doing a bus depot scene. So do the actual garage and then perhaps try and scratch build a lift or something. Right, okay. So Peter from Fleet has put, "You're like me, Penny. I'm not lucky. If I was in a marching band, I'd be the piano player." That was what made me laugh and almost choke. Um, excuse me one sec.
Coffee's.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, I was going to say Penny's coughing up a lung.
I think that's been coming for a good 10, 15 minutes. Right, Dave Mill, Penny, can you run through the bus wash at work? Do you mean actually me run, or do you want me to run through the procedure of the bus wash? I'll just wait for confirmation of that one. Rain-X is good for keeping dust off. It's what you put on car windscreens for when it rains. I did see that message, James Boy. You put, "Hello, Penny. How are you?" I recognise that name. I do recognise that name from somewhere. Yeah, I think there was someone left a comment on one of my other videos. Yeah, okay. To be honest with you, it's really quite simple. It's the same as a car wash, except that it's much bigger. And you've got the brushes come through. And the only thing I don't like about it is it recycles the water. And then the water is replaced every so often. So you find if you're one of the first drivers, I mean, at the current company I work, well, actually, none of the companies I work for, we actually put it through the wash. We usually leave it for, we bring it in and then the fuelers take over and they fill it up. In our cases, they take out the cash box because we collect, it's the bus that collects the money. Hey, James. James Trueberry. James Trueberry joins us from, let me double check, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he joins us from Astromex. This is your real account. James is a fellow R2D2 builder who's caught my channel from the R2D2 videos and from the Astromech forums. So that's the guy that you, I mean, I've seen some of his build diary. So if you think my R2 is amazing, you obviously haven't seen his. But yeah, no, the bus wash, it's pretty much the same as a car wash, that you just run the bus through and it, but as I say, at the beginning of the day, it absolutely stinks because where the dirty water has been recycled.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit like going through that Arc. You know that Arc car wash?
Yeah, that's
like
why I used to work.
Yeah, you know, it's just done really, really quick.
Yeah, so I used to work there. Well, IMO, Arc, same thing. And yeah, it recycles the water. So, when I used to start my shift and open up,
Yeah,
run the machine on a clean cycle and it just reeks.
yeah,
But
So
they
yeah,
never changed the water though. I don't
they
understand.
never change it.
No.
See, one company I worked at, they didn't have the funds to put a bus wash. They didn't have the space to put a bus wash in, actually. So it was all done by hand with pressure washers. But they had this really nice stuff that you'd spray on the buses, and you'd just see all the dirt just literally fall off the bus. It was brilliant. Um, Right, Sol is writing, has a good idea, a good tip for builds. If you have a screw that's too long, you can cut them down to size with a good pair of pliers. I learnt this from doing the DeLorean. Has anyone tried it? Roger Thompson saying, how long have I been a driver? I have been a driver since, I cannot remember the actual date I passed my test, because I passed my test in Sheffield and I passed on an automatic license. And then when I moved to Bristol, because I didn't have a manual license, they had to put me through training school. So my license is actually showing when I pass in a manual bus. And the date on it is, oh no, it does show the date. Yeah, 14th of December 2001. So in another week, there will be my 17th anniversary of being a bus driver. So yeah, and that is valid until the 8th of May 2022. And my professional driver qualification card. Oh, sorry, Dave. I thought that was a. But yeah, my CPC card runs out on the 3rd of March 2021. And my tachograph card runs out. Oh, it has run out. No, it hasn't run out. August 2022. So I haven't been a bus driver constantly for 17 years. And I gave up a really, really good job actually to be a bus driver. I'd been employed on a 6-month contract working coordinating engineers for a call entry system. We were based in Rotherham and our engineers were in Birmingham. And in the previous 6 months, one person had a nervous breakdown because of the job. It was just too much to do. And someone else couldn't clear the backlog. And it got to the point where, because it was a council contract, and councils always put in big buyout clauses. Hernia to do the DeLorean. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah. So yeah, what they wanted someone to come in and just see the contract out, do the best they can. It would have been cheaper to employ someone for 6 months through an agency than it was. Well, in fact, I wasn't even through an agency. I was employed full time, but it was cheaper to pay me for 6 months and than it was to cancel the contract. And I just kind of got on with it, and I used the process of hassling the engineers, and it was a case of any emergencies or anything urgent had to be done within 3 days. Anything that was a non-emergency had to be done within 7. And the jobs would come in by fax. I would log them, and then I would allocate them to the engineers. And what I used to do was ring the engineers 4 times a day, and I would say, my first call in the morning, I would go through all of the outstanding jobs, and I would say, how's this one getting on? And they might say, right, well, I'm doing that tomorrow. And I'll go, well, hang on, I rang you yesterday and you said you'd be doing it today. And they'll go, oh, this. So basically, I would hassle them so that I would develop the attitude, or they would develop the attitude of, well, I'll have to get it done because I'll just get hassled. And we got really on top of the jobs. Now, they used to fine us £60 a day for every job that was late. And the end of the first month, because obviously like the fines coming in arrears, we'd just received a fine of £1,700. That's how far behind they were. The second month fines, which I was partly responsible for, was closer to £400. And the third month, which I was completely responsible for, was £240. And at that stage, they offered me a job. They said, "Oh, we're now interested in renewing the contract. Would you like to stay on permanently?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "What? You know, we'll have to start wage negotiations." And I actually went in. I made an offer of double the current wages that I was on, thinking they'll probably knock me down and I might get wage and a half. And they just said yes straight away. They'd already done their costings. And I had a word with one of the supervisors. And it's funny because I said it was a little bit like that scene from Pretty Woman. And I'd said to him, I said I would have taken 1.5 times my current wages. And he turned around and said, we would have paid you triple. Um, so do you remember that scene from Pretty Woman? I haven't sent everyone to sleep, have I?
No, but I don't. I haven't actually seen Pretty Woman.
Have you not? Is that scene where she makes the offer of how long for the week or the weekend, and they're bartering, and she says like I would have taken something, and he goes I would have paid you more, you know, and it's
Mm.
quite a nice little scene. But yeah, then the offer of driving a bus came up, and I'm one of these sad people that I've always wanted to be a bus driver ever since I was a child, and the opportunity to fulfill your dream was just too tempting to take. So I took the job, and I left the call entry system job, which I don't regret, and I do. But bus driving has taken me all over the country, and if I hadn't had a fallout with my last boss, who was trying to get me back, because he yeah, yeah, okay, I have told you this then. Basically, I'd had a fallout with the agency boss. It was a funny story. Last Christmas, when the Newport contract ended, there was no work for a few weeks, and I said, "That's fine. I'll take a break over Christmas." And he'd offered me some work first of all at Bristol Airport, which was great, and I was working. My wage on the agency was pretty good anyway, but New Year's Day working on double pay was even better. So, and then I did some rail replacement work up in Newcastle, and that was good fun. But I was annoying. I was anno- There was a guy that I recruited to the company. He was actually pretty useless and disorganized. I mean, you don't turn up for a job working involved with railways and coordinating without a high vis and a pen, would you? You'd have thought they were basics. And
Mm.
me and this other one, we basically had no high vis, so we had to borrow one off Northern Rail. So he's walking about with a Northern Rail high vis on, which wasn't a problem. He had a high vis. Now my supervisor came, and he obviously didn't know this guy, and he thought he worked for Northern Rail, and he went up to him. He says, "Oh, how's everything going?" And he said words to the effect of, "Yeah, it's going really well, but really we don't want Penny and this other woman there." So, and I was sacked on that say so. So obviously I was a little bit bitter about that, and my big boss, he started getting all funny, and I just thought, I can't. I think I'm not going to be at this company much longer. So that's why I applied back at Newport, because they had offered me a job before I left. And also, the rooms that we were staying in, the landlord's just lost 8 drivers. So he must have at least, well, anything up to 8 empty rooms. So I contacted Newport and said, can I have a job? Is that job offer still on pending me getting accommodation? Also texted the landlord saying, is there accommodation? Can I take it provided I get a job? And they literally both came back within a minute of each other and bang, here I am. And then while I was training, this guy, he'd gone up to do another job in Manchester, and they got rid of him because apparently he was scrounging money and cigarettes off the customers, and he was getting a lot of complaints. And then they realised who he was, and they realised what had happened with me, and then they started offering me more work, and I'm like, sorry, the horse has bolted. And I know I've told you this before, but I remember him saying, Well, first of all, he offered. Well, he got a different supervisor to ring me up and say, "Oh, there's work going at Bristol Airport," and I just went, "Well, that's very nice." And this guy, he went, "Well, do you want to do it?" And I said, "No disrespect to you, but I'm not going to do it on your say so. The boss can ring me up and offer me the work, and then I will think about it." And he never did ring. And then about a week later, he sends me a text message saying, um, have you got a tachograph card?" And I said, yes. He says, "Do you want to work for National Express?" And I said, "You know, I want to work for National Express. I would love to do the coaches. Um, Roughly half the people who've done National Express have said it's absolutely amazing job. The other half have said it's absolutely awful. So I don't know whether to do it or not. But I figure the best way to do it is through an agency on a contract. That way, if you don't like the job, you know you're leaving in 6 months. Just don't renew. But I also said I won't do it for you. And he went, "Oh, that's not very nice." I said, "What? And it's nice the way you got rid of me." And then another week later, he's offering me a job driving buses in Malta. Um, Doing school buses, and it was like 5 6 hours driving for 10 hours pay, 5 days a week, and the rest of the time just sitting there in the sun in Malta. And I still stuck to my guns and said no. But I love what I do now. I have my good and my bad days, but on the whole I love it. So oh wow, Roger Thompson, my stepson loves his job as a driver. Started at Oxford Buses. I know Oxford Buses from when I worked at Aylesbury. I used to do the 280 sometimes. And the Oxford Buses manager, operations manager, is, well, when I left, he's the operations manager at Arriva Aylesbury. Nice guy, and I think he's brought some nice changes in. But Oxford Tube, I've got to be honest with you, I didn't get on with those Oxford Tube drivers, especially there's a part of where they come up this road into Oxford, there's park and ride, and they go into this park and ride. And as you come out, the inside lane has got no traffic lights because it goes into a bus lane. But unfortunately, where you've got the bus lane on the main road, you've got us coming straight across, and then you get this Oxford Tube just pulled straight out without looking, and there's going to be a nasty collision. And some of them, they just seem a bit. So if that offends anyone, I apologise. That's just my observation. But then, I got in a taxi today, and I had no problems telling the taxi driver that I'm a bus driver, and I think the majority of taxi drivers are absolutely awful in Newport. And just to back up my point, most taxis, they have like a sticker on the back of the car to show that they're registered with a local authority, and it's usually a square or a circle. In Newport, they're triangles. They actually have warning triangles on the side of the taxis in Newport. And if you don't believe me, I'll take a photo of a taxi for next week. Sorry, Chris Campling, I haven't said hello. I do apologise. How are you, Chris?
Hello, Chris. Yep. What have you been up to? Have you been screwing something? An R2D2 leg, maybe?
I'm assuming there's a private conversation going on here, is there?
No, just wondering because Chris said he was sorry he was late. Well, no, he forgot about it, but I think he was obviously occupied. He must have been up to something. Yeah, do you know what? Because my dad was a bus driver, and I could have had possibly entry into Stagecoach down here.
Yeah,
and I've often
not driving that naughty bus that appeared at the beginning of the show.
But do you know what scares me more about it is forgetting the routes. That's the only thing that puts. I know it's stupid, but there's so much to learn. There's so many buses, and I don't obviously know how different they operate. The company to say where you work, but I think you go in and they sort of decide on the morning what route you're doing.
No. We usually get a rota.
But it worries me that obviously there's a lot to learn. You've got to learn how to drive the bus, then you go for all your tests, then you have to start learning routes. And I'm just terrified. I'm going to start taking passengers somewhere that they're all going to be shouting down the bus, "Where are you going?"
I'll let you into a secret, shall I? Your customers generally give back the same attitude that you give to them. Now, secret number two, I have actually taken a wrong turning on every single route I have ever done at some point. Um, I'll tell you a little a theory, whatever it's called. I got taught this on one of my CPCs, but I've also been taught it in other areas. Have you ever heard of the competency circle?
No.
Right. So think about when you first drove a car, right? Before you drove a car for the first time ever, you are consciously incompetent, right? And by that, it means that you think you're going to be, no, hang on, you are consciously competent, right? Which means that, oh, I've forgotten the order, unconsciously competent. Basically, what it means is that you don't know how bad you're going to be at driving a bus or a car, do you?
Car. No.
Until you've actually got in it.
Yeah.
And then you get in the, right, unconsciously incompetent. That's what it is. You don't know how bad you're going to be. Once you drive the car for the very first time, then you're crap. You go, oh my god, I'm really crap at that. I was really bad. So now you know how bad you are. So now you're consciously incompetent.
Right.
Then you pass your test, right? So now you are consciously competent. Yeah, you know you're good enough to drive a car. Was it consciously? Anyway, it's something. Then the next stage you get to is where you know you're good. You know you're good enough. You're of a better standard. You've been driving a while. You've got better. So now you're starting to run the risk of you're no longer thinking about things. You just get in your car or your bus and you just go. And that's when it becomes dangerous. You need to pull yourself back down to the third level where you can drive the vehicle, but you have to think about it.
Yeah.
And that you always have to pull yourself down. And that's pretty much how it is with buses. The moment you start thinking, oh yeah, I can do this, no problems, blah, 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 off we go. And it's the same with routes. When you don't know a route, you're looking at every junction. Which way do I need to go now? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then you get to a point where you don't need to think about it so more. But at some point in the future, you can just jump in a bus and just drive the route. But then you've got that in between stage where you think you don't need to think about it, but in actual fact you do.
Yeah.
And that's when, because obviously as you appreciate, most routes will overlap with another route.
Hmm.
So when I'm doing the number 40 to Pill, I join up the bit with the number 35 route to Dufferin, and instead of going right at the roundabout to go through the new estate, I end up going straight over, going towards Dufferin. And all my customers are going, oh, you've gone the wrong way, driver. Where are you going? Now, you can turn around and go, oh, I know what I'm doing, which is not a good thing to say because you clearly don't from the passenger's point of view. Or you can have a laugh about it and you go, oh my God, oh, do you know what? I only stole this bus this morning and I thought I could handle it, or some kind of joke. And then the next, oh, you're all right, drive, go down the end of the road, turn around, and then you can go back. And if you keep things friendly, but I generally don't make the same mistake twice. I'm a bit of an advocate of make the mistake and learn from it, and generally you'll get away with it. And yeah, but don't be scared of calling yourself a bit of an idiot, because if you don't, the customers will. So Fleetwood J's just hired a Leyland PD3 for his wedding in September 2020 in Blackpool. Well, that'll blend in there, won't it? Because they've all got old buses and stuff down there. Dave Milne wishes they brought back conductor. I wish they brought back conductor, to be honest with you. Although knowing my luck, remember it's been spotted that I'd have the luck of being a piano player in a brass band or in a marching band. I'd probably get a conductor with someone that I don't get on with. So that would be an absolute nightmare. So, but I tell you what, me and Horlicks, I'll be the driver. Horlicks, you can be the conductor.
Yeah.
I've got to ask you. Go on, do it. Tickets, please.
Yeah, tickets, please.
That's the one. That'd be perfect.
Do you know what? I accidentally messed it up though, because I don't know if anyone noticed. I did have it on my Routemasters videos, and when I was editing last week, I don't know if it's come through yet, but there was this little line. It was such a small clip. It was a little line, and I thought, "Oh, what's that?" And I just deleted it. And I now realise what it was, and it's missing.
Is that why we've not been hearing it?
Yeah, so I'll have to. I might put it back on or do something different.
I think it's nice when you change things. I've not had any comments at all. I've released 4 R2D2 videos, and I've not had one comment, so I'm going to assume that no one's noticed it. But at the beginning of the credits, where you get the R2D2 going bleep 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 bleep, it's actually different every week. And no one's made any comment. Whether it might well be that everyone's noticed it and hadn't thought it was worth commenting on.
No, I can't say I have noticed myself.
See, I run the title through an R2D2 translator, record it, and then I put that into the video. So you watch the videos, you listen. It'll be different every week. So, do you know what, Chris? I think we've all done that, haven't we? Or you're making the video, and you just about got to the end, and then it crashes, and you lose the whole lot because you need to be saving every 5 minutes. So, right. Shall we read some of this manual?
Yeah, okay. So I may as well. I need to.
You needed to disappear, didn't you?
So I am going to be sort of watching in the background. But yeah, obviously, Carl's come back and ready to have dinner and stuff. So
yeah, that's fine.
While you're reading giving information on the manual, I can just slope off.
Well, I thought where would be an absolutely appropriate place to start is this section on seats, if everyone is in agreement with that. So I will read through that. So,
okay. So yeah, I'll say
blah 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 blah.
I'll say goodbye, and I'll see you next week for a build, isn't it? Next week, yeah, next week we've got a build.
Doing is it 45 next week? I hope it's 45 because I've got 44 here.
Yeah.
Pages have got stuck together.
And we'll be doing more seats, I believe.
More seats. Another set of seats for the lower deck is supplied. So it looks like we're getting another 4. So,
yeah, brilliant. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll see you all next week for more sewing.
More sewing, yes. Right. You take care then.
Yeah, take care, everyone.
Oh, yeah, Roger, it said that, yeah, you said about went to Bulgaria earlier and they had conductors. When we got on the bus station, we could see loads of them having cups. Why can't we have that here? More jobs for UK workers. Profits, that's all it is profits. If they employed a conductor, they've got 2 wages to pay. And although the conductors would be on a lower wage than the drivers, I suspect, it's still going to be... oh, yes. Right. At 10 o'clock, then, I'll do a quick... I've got... I subscribe to a paint box every week, and this came through today, which I said I was going to open. So what I'll do is the Routemaster stream is scheduled to finish at 10. So I'll do this at 10. So I'll probably finish about 10:15 to 10:30. So yeah, thank you, Horlicks. totally agree, but all falls down. Yeah, it is money. I think that's why they got rid of conductors in the first place. It's just to make more profits, keeps the fares down, or they don't need to raise the fares by quite so much. Right, so let me get you onto this, because this is actually, although it's only a typed piece of paper, I felt there was some quite good information in it. So it says the upper salon has accommodation for 36 seated passengers, there being 8 crosswise seats on the off side and 10 on the near side. 4 seats on the near side and 4 seats on the off side are fitted with floating stanchions. The lower salon has accommodation for 28 seated passengers, there being 5 crosswise seats on both near side and off side, with a 4-passenger longitudinal seat over each wheel arch, 2 crosswise seats on the near side and 2 alternate seats on the off side are fitted with floating stanchions. So that's where our, as I call them, knobbly bits comes in. First question from the manual: what torque are the seats tightened to? I will try and see if I can find that out. All of the seat frames are of tubular steel construction. The gangway, top rails, squat channels and stanchions being in polished stainless steel. At waist height, the seat frames are secured by a stainless steel set screw into a tapped boss, which can also be easily removed in the event of damage to the thread. At seat level, the seat frames are bolted to 2 mounting brackets attached to the body side. The seat leg fixing is carried out by set screws which engage with floating nuts which are captive within the floor structure rail. Previous to mod number 154, most crosswise seat legs had 2 bolt fixings, but these were reduced to 1 bolt under the above mod. It is possible to replace these nuts should they become damaged by sliding them towards the large clearance holes situated at the centre beneath the foot of each chair leg and lifting the nuts out of the floor rail. Locating pegs are positioned within the floor rails to limit the travel of the nuts in an outward direction. It's hard work reading, isn't it? Believe it or not. When the seat legs are tightened down, the cork stroke rubber floor covering is compressed to form a watertight connection. If at any time the seat should be removed, it is important that the spring washers be refitted to the screw securing the seat legs at the time seats were reinstalled. Wooden blocks have been provided within the roof structure to take the wood screws which fix the top sockets for the stanchions in the normal manner. In order to remove the crosswise seat cushions from the seat frames, it is advisable to lift the back end of the cushion and slide it away from the front seat rail. And I think that's... The seat stanchions are connected to the frame by an articulated crusty formed rubber encased in, sorry, it's where it photocopies, it loses a little bit of quality. Encased inside a screwed stainless steel cap, and should it become necessary to detach the stanchions at any time, this can be achieved by gripping the screwed cap and stanchion with a pair of special clamping devices and unscrewing the ferrule away from the stanchion tube. Care must be exercised to avoid marking both the cap and the stanchion tube. So, is that any useful to anyone? Of any use? Does that interest anyone? Would you like me to read more of it as the weeks go by? There's a lot in the book, so we can spread it out perhaps over so many issues. What we got, about 90 issues left, 80 issues, 90. Right, so what's something to talk? I don't know. I don't think that mentions that, does it? So, should we have a question from that in the quiz in a couple of weeks? And look, I've even got a schematic for the lamps. Right, okay, I've run out of things to say now. Let's see what we've got. Is that no, we shouldn't have any questions from the manual. Right. Okay, so right, just make sure I've not missed any comment. I don't think I've missed any. No. Do you know, you see how useless I am on my own now, can't you? I've got so used to having Horlicks, I can't function without him. Um, right, guys, so if I can't think of anything else, so that means I've got to come up with more questions with a limited supply to do it from. Right, so is everyone happy with the build? Is anyone having any problems with the build? Obviously, I can't deal with supply issues, but if there's anything that the only trouble is once we've gone a couple of weeks after an issue, if someone says, "Oh, the blah blah blah," I tend to not remember the issue number. So if you've got something you want me to run through, just tell me the issue number and I will just pull it out. Yeah, I really don't know. I just can't cope without Horlicks. I've got so used to him, and he really has enhanced the show so much. I'm not saying that just because he's I know he's listening, but he has brought so much to the show that when that's taken away, it's like, oh, how do we manage? So right, I'll tell you what I'll do then. I think I've just gone on to mute. Okay, I'm going to bring forward the I really don't know if I'm going to be moving yet. It's one of these things. We've got the relief manager's job has come up again at work, which I might be going for. So obviously I don't really want to look at leaving and getting promoted because it's not going to work. Roger Thompson wants to test your light bulbs. Right. How many does the Routemaster seat then? Don't forget that the RML is bigger. Right. I think this one that we're building is the same as this one described in the magazine. So what I'll do is I will check. If I check the holes, that should confirm. I've got to find the page now. Sorry about this, guys. Page 9. I wonder, actually, it's just, you've now said that about the extension. It's talking about mod 150 and mod this. I wonder if that's the extension bit in the middle to make it longer. Right, so accommodation for 36 seats. There being 8 crosswise seats on the off side and 10 on the near side. So 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's interesting. Because if you look at the holes that we've got, 8 crosswise seats on the off side. Oh, 4 seats on the near side are fitted with. Oh, maybe there's not enough seats on here then. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 20, 28, 24. There's 2 seats missing then. Because it says that there should be 4 seats on the near side, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's 5. And 4 seats. Sorry, that's the upper section. Right. 28 passengers on the lower deck. There being 5 crosswide seats on both the near side. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Right. So there's 5 there, 5 there. 4 passengers longitudinal seats over each wheel arch. So is that 2 passengers? I thought they seated 3 over the wheel arch. I might be wrong. Do they seat 2 then? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 20. Yeah, they'll seat 4. Oh, with a 4 passenger longitudinal seat over each wheel arch. Right, so you've got 10 passengers there, 10 passengers there, 4 there, 4 there, it makes 28. So this what I've got is matching this one. So this is the RM, isn't it? The RML has an extension round about there, isn't it, which puts in another 4 seats. It's for want of a better expression, it's a bit of a cut and shut type thing, isn't it? But it's not a cut and shut. It's they basically cut the bus there and then added. But it is, yeah, it's 28. You can see from the position you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then there's going to be 5 double seats there. So it's going to be a 4-way seat go there and 1 there. So that's going to be a bit tight, isn't it, for 4 people over the wheel arch? So so Mr. Concept reading his newspaper probably isn't going to work on the wheel arch. So is it just so yeah, actually if the RML only gets an extra 4 seats in with a top deck as well, that'd be another 4 seats, won't it? So that's 8 seats. Right, so you want to test your lights, hey Johnson. So what I did, how did I do mine? I did mine with I think I actually did mine with an Arduino. The best way to do it, really, I think, is if you can, let me switch my camera. I'll move my keyboard first. Actually, I'll move my light across as well. I've got my light over the 3D printer. Yeah, no problems, Chris. You take care. Oh yeah, you've got your, yeah. Are you looking forward to that then, Chris? So switch camera. Right. What I think is going to be the best way, excuse the mess on air, this is for the video I did yesterday. This Arduino, it's a controller for doing, you can pretty much program it to do all sorts of things, but at a most basic level, it acts as a good power supply. You've got 2 ports here. You've got a 3.3 volt and a 5 volt. So all I would do is plug your 3.3 volt in and then have a supply there, and then obviously you're going to need a ground, and then pop a resistor in there, probably a 220 resistor or 300. That will reduce the voltage, because if you did straight 3 volts into an LED, you'll blow the bulbs. And then get to these jumper cables. They've got little spiky bits on the end. They're designed to go into things like the breadboards. But if you use them like that and then hold them together, you've now effectively got a 2-way socket. And then if you get your connectors from, I'll show you with the speaker. I won't do the speaker, but I'll show you the principle, because it's easier for me to get the bottom deck off. But all of the lights, they all have a connection that looks something like that. And then all you need to do, I'll take these out, is then get these and just touch those metal connections there. Like that. And then once you've done that, the lights should, because obviously you're passing a current through the lights, and the lights will light up. If you're collecting R2D2, you should be able to rig up the you should be able to rig up the R2D2 test box. That will work. But if you haven't got any of those, the simplest way to do it is to just do it with a battery. Either the most simplest way, if you can get a wire, if you want to blue tack or stick wires to a battery, but really you want to be using a resistor. So you need a resistor anywhere along the positive line, and then just get the two connections and touch the wires. You just need to get a power supply safely into the light. Right, okay, guys. So as I'm running out of material, I'm going to do the unboxing if you don't mind. And you know, all of you that don't paint might actually be into this. So so let me change my camera. Obviously, I'm still open for questions, anything about any subject. So what we have got, there is a company called Acid Drop, and every month they send us a box. Now, I will show you what have I done with it. Right, I'll show you the previous boxes. I'm now up to 4 boxes a month. This is their biggest box called Monsters, and what they do is they give you a figure. I always give you sweeties. Yeah, no problems, Roger. So you always get some sweeties. You usually get a few little paints. I've taken the paints out of these. And then in this case, you get a monster figure. And this is a behemoth of decay. And these are the wings, so you can get an idea of how big the model is. And that, I'll compare that to the size of my hand. Well, there you go. You can see it on my hand. Do you see it's not a small model. The other box that they do is one called Heroines, and you usually get a female figure instead of this one, bit of accessories perhaps, and a few little paints. And their original box is just simply called Discovery, and all that is paints, basing materials, anything like that. And it's all about discovering new brands, new paints. And that's how I came across things like these paints, which if you're painting anything metal, these are absolutely amazing. This is from Dark Star Molten Metal range. Quite recently, we got some color change paints. Let me turn the light out a bit. So you see how that changes color? And then this is another brand, and we think this one's better. But yeah, they just send you different paints to try out. Sometimes they're ordinary matte paints. But this month they brought out a new box called Heroes. So instead of getting a female figure, you get a male figure. And there should be some paints and some bits and bobs. And this hasn't been opened, so I literally have no idea what's in it. So this is where my unboxing is going to... do they charge much? It's about 20 something pounds a box. This is the information on what's in it, and I tend to leave that till last. Essentially, what we're opening here is sorry, bear with me. I'm getting all these notifications come through. That annoys me. Essentially, what these are is it's like the guy who owns Asset Drop has gone, right, this is what I've been working on this month and I'm really happy with it, so I want to share it with you. So but yeah, you get a little bit of discount for ordering more than one box because they package them together, so they save you the postage costs. So this is literally the first time I've ever seen this, and there's the obligatory packet of sweets. And we have got some little bits of extra basing material. It says religious tomes. Just that, books and things. They're rather nice. I'm not gonna get the focus on these guys. So little basing extras. Oh, we've got this. That looks like candles. That is candles. I'm going to have to try and get this out. I have never seen candles before. Yeah, wax candles that are melted. You see they've been lit and they've got all the candle coming down. God knows how I'm going to paint that. Because you've got to get that sort of see-through waxiness, haven't you? And there's a little candle there that looks a little bit phallic, but it's not. And this is quite common for asset drop, where the model always comes with a base, but they actually supply an extra base. And I don't think I'm going to get this open. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, that's sealed in. All right, let's cut it open. Yeah, so usually a model comes with a plain base, and then you decorate it as you see fit. So they'll often throw in a custom base, and that is rather nice. So now what we can do is when we make that model, we can put it onto this base, and it just makes it a little bit more elegant. So, and the paints that we've been given are my favorite color ever. Purples and pinks. Well, purples I like. So we've got Orc Blood, which is obviously a purple. Grimoire purple. And we've got Warlock purple, which looks a bit pinky to me, but we'll call that purple if they want to call it purple. And this is from Army Painter. Now, Army Painter, Love Minis knows exactly what I'm going to say here. I've used things like this, which are their clippers, and I really don't get on with them. So the other month when they sent us, have I got it? They sent us a product called Strong Tone, and I said, look, every Army Painter product I've ever got, I haven't got on with, but I've heard good things about Strong Tone. This is a wash, not a paint, so it's very good for highlighting recesses. And I gave this a try, and I thought it was absolutely amazing. So I'm actually quite happy to get these because I've not tried any of their paints before. So very happy with that. So I'll give that a try. So let's have a look at the figure. So it's by Ragecraft, which a brand I've never heard about. Johnson, my Harley Davidson build, I am doing it, but I do it on my Twitch stream now once a month on a Friday. It's getting slightly less. I don't want to use the word tedious because that suggests I'm not enjoying the build, but we're still very much at the here's some parts, pop them to one side and we'll worry about them later on stage, because the parts are so large, so they can't really give us everything we need to build like stage one. Otherwise they would give us like 50 quid's worth of parts for a £30 a month issue, and then we'd all be finished within about 6 months. So, right, this is what I mean about the base. This is quite typical for what you get on a normal figure. Now you can make that look really attractive, but obviously having a custom base makes life a bit easier. And they looks like they've given us an extra base as well, unless that's meant to go on to there. So this is the figure. I'll try and get him out. I think they've glued the bag together. So as you will be able to see, this Mini, like most miniatures, will require some assembly, and that looks really nice actually. So the joints are square. So actually square pegs, which obviously makes life a little bit easier. Am I on auto? I'll find out in a minute, won't I? Yeah, I'm on autofocus. So you see that you've got square holes there. Normally you just get holes, and it's hard to tell exactly where to position something. So this is obviously some kind of. Oh, hang on. He's got a hand, and a shield. Okay, I'm a little bit confused now because he's got another hand. Okay, it's right. He's obviously got different. He's got optional parts by the looks of it. So he's got a sorry, I can't put these in so they stay in. So battle axe version. Oh, you make me paranoid when you do comments and then retract the message, Johnson. So there's a head. And that is, oh, that's another head. So it's quite nice when you get optional parts. And then, oh, you got 3 heads in total. 2 different right arms and one right arm, one left arm, sorry. So he's always going to have a shield, I think. Yeah. Unless that's yeah, no, that is actually his left arm. It looks like he's holding that book up. So I actually had that on the wrong arm. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, no, that is definitely. Oh, that is definitely a left arm. Right. You ask me that every week, hey, Johnson. I am doing the Newport bus, but I'm waiting for. Well, I first of all was waiting for the chassis to come in, um, but I'm I'm. We're not in a rush for it. You know, we've got another 90 weeks before we need to do it. So I'm just getting a few little things sorted out, and then once I've got more time, I can, because I'm going to need probably about 10 bottles of paint remover, because I can only get them in 250 ml bottles. Um, so that is. Oh, I wanted to have a little scrape of this, because I actually can't tell if it's plastic or resin. Feels very plasticky. I think it's resin. Yeah, that's resin, but it feels like plastic. So it doesn't make a difference. It's just that you handle them differently. Um, I find that if you file resin, it it's a lot softer. So if you file too rough, you could file too much off too quickly. But then again, with plastic, it depends on the type of plastic. Um, the PLA that I'm using is very tough to file. Oh, so they've given us some nice artwork concepts. which is always nice. They did this with the Heroines box. So we have got a Bishop miniature by Ragecraft Studios. So that's valued at just under £16, which is comparable to things like Games Workshop. It's roughly about the same price, but you've got different options and you've got some nice crisp clear detail on there. Custom base extender by, so that little disc we had, it extends that base to make it a little bit bigger. Religious tomes by Serious Play Scenics. And resin candles. And then we've got the 3 paints. And then what it does is it tells you, you assemble your base, you assemble your model, you design your base, you think about what you want, and then you prime it, and then you do this. This goes through the paints. It's only one stage. It doesn't tell you how to paint everything, but he goes through. He always includes pictures. So then he includes one section, a little tutorial on why he selected those colors this week. And you see that he's add pop by highlighting with white. He hasn't included a white because it's a white that most people will have, and he has included 2 or 3 whites anyway in the last 15 months, I think they've been going. So that is the Heroes box. Unfortunately, I probably won't be continuing it. I bought it to see what it was like because this is the first month of the Heroes. But I'm not going to be stopping it because it's a terrible box. It's absolutely brilliant. I think that's absolutely amazing. But the amount of figures I get from Asset Drop and the amount of time I have to paint, there just isn't enough hours in the day. So it boils down to we need that lottery win, don't we? So I don't know if that interests anybody, if anybody's into painting miniatures. If you're not into painting miniatures, then perhaps look at the Asset Drop box, which just contains paints and basing materials. But I've got a fair old collection. I don't know if you can see on the top shelf there, that's part of my collection that I've got from Asset Drop. And I've got all of these. They only give us 2 or 3 a month, but they all soon do build up. So, right, guys. So it's coming up for 10 o'clock. Is there anybody who wants to bring up anything else? I can't believe we've still got 20 people watching. I think that's pretty amazing, actually. You all come to watch me build a Routemasters. And you knew full well there was going to be no Routemasters, and yet you're still coming. I think that's absolutely amazing. So thank you, guys. So next week we're going to be doing some seats. The week after we're going to be doing another show like this. I kind of came up with the idea of trying to get some people on the show, kind of like not a practice for the quiz, but I practice getting multiple people on the show. So if anyone's interested in doing that, usually I put let me just check. I have done. Right. I have put my Facebook address in the description. So if anybody fancies being on the show in 2 weeks' time, we'll just come on and we'll just chat pretty much the same as we have done this issue. I'll fill up some space with some more articles from the manual that I've got. And obviously, if we bring you on the show, we'll be asking you all about your build. We'll be looking at what parts you liked. Because if you notice with me, Horlicks and Dave Say, we all seem to have different areas. So I keep looking at the monitor when the camera's actually there. So yeah, between the 3 of us, we seem to have different favourite bits. So where I might be really excited about one part of the magazine. Yeah, no problems, Christine. You take care. So yeah, I might be excited about one issue, and then the following week, Dave Say might be really excited, and then Horlicks might be really excited the week after. Yeah, no problems. basically what happens is just before we start the show, I send a link, and then you join in with this. Uh, we have like it's a Google Hangout basically. But yeah, we'd love to have you on the show, Dave. We'd really like to sort of know more about you and more about how you're finding the build. And just because I've found that just about everybody who's doing these part work builds are really interesting people. Um, so yeah, so I'm going to call this to an end then. I'm going to disappear to bed. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and thank you all for taking part. Thank you all for the comments on the video yesterday. That seemed to go down really well. I'll see if I can come up with ideas to do other stuff like that as well. So until next week, you guys take care, and this will be the first show that is ever gone to 10 o'clock, because we always go over, don't we? Right, so I'm signing off till next week, and on behalf of myself and Horlicks, take care, everybody.